Have you ever come home from a photography trip and thought, that place was absolutely amazing, so why are my photos just, well, okay? Then this video is for you. Because in this one, I want to share one simple habit that has probably improved my photography more than any camera, lens, or piece of gear I've ever bought. And the best part, it doesn't cost a penny. Over the past 35 years, I've been lucky enough to learn from some truly amazing photographers. But if you ask me to pick the single best piece of advice I've ever been given, it would be this: slow down. It almost sounds too simple, but this one habit has actually changed the way I see, the way I think about my work, and ultimately the photographs I create. Because great photography isn't about how quickly you can press the shutter. Yeah, of course there are going to be times when you have to grab a shot or miss it, but I'm talking about more deliberate photography here. It's all about giving yourself enough time to see what others might walk straight past. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video today. But before we get into it, this will be of interest. If you'd like a safe space to continue your photography journey with like-minded people, then why not come and join us in our Photography Foundations community over on School. It's a really safe and friendly place to be. No ads, no algorithms, and no traditional social media nonsense. Just photographers from all around the world who are learning, practicing, sharing, and supporting each other. We have an active forum where members post their images, ask questions, and share ideas. There's a classroom with structured learning and feedback sessions, a members map so you can see who's near you, and regular challenges and discussions to keep your photography moving forward. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, the link is in the description, or you can use the QR code on the screen, and we'd love to see you there. When we see something interesting, our natural reaction is to lift the camera and take a photograph as quickly as possible. I used to do exactly the same. But here's the thing. The first photograph we take is often a photograph our eyes saw, not the photograph our brain could have created. And there's a big difference. Our eyes see the subject. Our brain notices the light, the composition, the distractions, the story if you like, but it needs a few moments to process all of that. At least mine does. And if we shoot too quickly, we never give it the chance, and we end up with something average at best. I think that's sometimes down to being apprehensive of others watching you, or not being confident enough with our camera. But they don't know if you're a total beginner, or if you've been shooting for years. It's human nature to be curious, so don't give them a second thought. Anyway, if you do slow down and take your time, you'll definitely become more relaxed and your confidence will grow. So people often ask, what's the biggest difference between a beginner and an experienced photographer? Well, it's not the camera or the lens, it's not even the talent. It's that experienced photographers tend to pause and be more considered. They don't just look, they actually observe and survey the scene. They ask themselves questions like, where's the light coming from? What's the distractions? Can I find a better angle? Should I move maybe a bit left or a bit right? And what's the real subject here? That short pause might only be 30 seconds, but it can completely transform the photograph. Is this making sense? Maybe think of an artist. They don't just grab the paint straight away. They sketch it all out first and really think about what they're doing. So why should photography be any different? Over the years, I've found myself following the same really simple process again and again. And that is look, think, shoot. First of all, look. Take it all in. Don't reach for the camera yet. Just take the scene in. Next, think. What makes this interesting? Where's the best light? What can I remove from the frame? How could I make this much stronger? And only when you've done all that, thought it through, then shoot. I know it all sounds really simple, and that's because it is. But simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. When we're excited, all we want to do is start pressing the shutter, and I totally get that. I've been there. The trick is to train yourself to pause and really slow yourself down. Trust me, it really is worth it. And this is one of the reasons I still love using a tripod. Now, of course, a tripod helps keep the camera steady, but that's not all it does. For me, the biggest benefit isn't technical, it's psychological. It seems like the moment I set up a tripod, I automatically and naturally slow down. I'm far less tempted to take 10 quick photographs. In fact, that'd be quite difficult anyway. Instead, I start asking better questions, like, is this the best composition? Could I move a little to the left? What's happening with the light? Is there a distraction I haven't noticed? The tripod forces me to become more deliberate, and more often than not, that deliberate approach leads to a far better photograph. Now, I'm not saying you should use a tripod all the time, far from it, but every now and then it's worth taking one out, not just to steady your camera, but to steady your thinking, if that makes sense. So let me give you an example. You rock up at a beautiful location. Now, most people take a photograph within 10 seconds or so. Then they run around all over the place, firing off shots, hoping to get a keeper or two. Sound familiar? That's exactly what I used to do as well. But instead, what if you spend the first few minutes just taking everything in, just watching and looking? You notice the clouds moving. You notice the light changing. You notice that if you take 3 steps to your left, that distracting sign disappears. By the way, if you ever say to yourself, I'll sort that out in the edit, have a serious word with yourself. Try to get it as good as you can in the camera. Editing is the icing on the cake to help you finesse your vision. Anyway, maybe you notice that waiting a few more seconds lets someone out hike it into the frame and add a sense of a scale to your image. So you haven't just taken a shot to record the scene. You've actually considered and created a proper photograph. Maybe even something worth hanging on the wall. Many years ago, I was out with an experienced landscape photographer, about to take a shot when he said, "Move yourself 2 feet to the left." I thought he was being funny, but I moved anyway, just to humor him. But guess what? He was, of course, absolutely right. It actually did make a difference. So don't take the shot straight away. Really consider all your options first. So here's a simple challenge to help you with this whole slowing down idea. Next time you go out with your camera, look around and find one subject. And don't touch your camera for 2 minutes, which will feel like ages. But just look and take it all in. Walk around it, watch the light and see what it's doing, pay attention to the background, and think about what drew you to it in the first place. What was it that actually grabbed your attention? And then, only after those 2 minutes, take your photograph. I think you'll be surprised at just how different that final image would be from the one you would have taken straight away. Maybe there's actually something else you could try. Find a decent subject, take a quick snapshot, then go through the whole slowing down and observing challenge. And if you do, let me know in the comments how you get on. So today we found that better photography isn't necessarily about shooting more. It's actually about seeing more. We talked about why we so often rush our photographs. Why experienced photographers pause before they press the shutter. How a simple process of look, think, shoot can transform the way you work. And why something as simple as using a tripod can help you become more deliberate, more considered with your work. I reckon that sometimes the biggest improvement you can make to your photography is to simply slow down. The camera records what's in front of you. Slowing down actually helps you see what's actually worth recording in the first place. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Better photographs don't always come from doing more. Very often, they come from doing less. As in less rushing, less reacting, and instead, more observation, more thinking, and more intention. Your photography will definitely improve when you give yourself time to see what everyone else might be missing. So next time you're up with your camera, remember those 3 words. Look, think, shoot. Don't forget to check out our Photography Foundations community. It's a great place to ask questions, share your images, join in our live sessions, take part in challenges, and most importantly, continue growing as a photographer. QR code on the screen, or you'll find the link in the description. If you found this useful, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on slowing down and being more considered in your approach. I read and respond to everyone. As always, thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.